now we got you here, man. We can get this Jayden Hollywood. Jayden Hollywood, but is Jayden the Great or the Great Jayden? Because you corrected me in the chat. Which one is it?
It's the Great Jayden.
The Great Jayden. My bad.
All social
Get it
media,
right?
yes.
On all social media. So let's get right into it, man. Tell us who you are, even though we introduced you. Still, tell us who you are, and just what you got going on. You got a podcast and all that. So tell our audience who the Great Jayden is.
Yeah, man. I'm a Renaissance man. And if y'all don't know what the definition of Renaissance man is, Google it. But I do a little bit of everything. Full time, I'm an accountant. And I also have a podcast, Unapologetic Podcast, Unapologetic with the K. And where we talk about pop culture, but we spin it for the culture.
Gotcha.
So if we're going to talk about something that happened, for example, Kim Porter just died.
Yeah.
Most people are just going to say that she died. For me, when I have that conversation, I'm going to talk about the underlying issue, and that's the fact that doctors are not giving Black women the care that they deserve or they need. Mm-hmm. And then every episode, because we're bi-weekly now, that I have, it's always a different topic, and a different guest. But I always want the listeners to, one, laugh, but I also want them to have a takeaway when they listen to my podcast. Sometimes I'll listen to a podcast and I just feel like I didn't get anything from it. And if I'm going to put out content, then I'm going to make sure that the listeners are taking away something.
You don't feel like that when you listen to us, do you?
I do.
Well, no. I mean,
no. I feel like I get taken.
I'm about to say, damn, for real?
No,
Honestly, I was going to piggyback off of that because some things did change, which kind of segues into the second question. Mm-hmm. Is there some adjustments you made with your show? Because I'll say this. Recently, I think we've decided to have conversations that two men can have that could possibly give the listeners and women and people who don't understand, man, an insight onto what we think. I want every episode that we do from here on out to give you guys a gem.
You look mad different.
What'd I do? I lost like 10, 15 pounds.
He ain't lose that much weight. So.
I did.
I think it's the gains. I need to get like you. January 1st.
Whatever it is.
I'm trying to get like you.
I know what happened.
It might be the shirt.
I know what happened. This shirt's a size smaller.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it.
Gotcha.
What do you want me to do?
Okay.
But and that goes into my second question. Like, did you make any adjustments with your show since you started? And I'll give you an example of what we did.
Yeah.
I listened to like an earlier episode, and we used to spend like 15 minutes shouting out the Pod Squad. I said, oh, no, I that's trash. I'm shouting out every other podcast, and we ain't got to no type of topic yet. I hated that. So it's just something simple like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not about to spend 15 minutes shouting out 20 different podcasts. Shout out to the ones that do. I know John does it real well, but when I was like, nah, I got to cut that out.
Shout out to all the podcasts, though.
But I don't do that anymore simply because, one, I don't really have the time to listen to podcasts like I used to. Right. And on top of that, I just feel like, in general, when I hear people do it, it seems kind of fake to me. Like, people will be like, oh, yeah, I listened to so-and-so last week. Really? Because they haven't released the episode in 3 months. So how'd you listen to them last week? Or somebody be like, oh, yeah, pod in. I'm listening to this podcast. And then 20 minutes later,
you listen to something
pod
else.
in. Now I'm listening to this podcast. That episode was an hour and a half. How'd you speed through an hour and a half in 20 minutes? So I can't speak on what other people do. But for me, people don't come to my podcast for that. They don't come to my podcast for other recommendations, so I don't feel the need to spend 10 minutes doing that anymore. But I shout people out on Twitter. If I'm listening to it and I've genuinely fucks with you, I'm going to promote you. I also cut down the time that I used to spend on just the Hollywood news part. Like, honestly, I just got drained and tired, and I'm over talking about celebrity gossip and drama that where it doesn't relate to me.
Yeah.
So I don't like when people break up. I don't care. Like
don't
Cassie and Diddy, I don't.
I feel like
care.
if I don't give a fuck about the niggas around the corner breaking up, I don't give a damn about these motherfuckers on TV breaking up.
Shout out to the podcast that do.
But
that's they lane.
sometimes I feel a connection. Like Janae and Big Sean, for some reason, I was kind of bummed that they broke up.
Yeah,
I didn't know they did.
I didn't.
She had the big face on her arm, right?
Yeah, it's gone.
What'd she get?
Well, now she's working on like a whole body piece with like a dragon,
Mm.
and she covered that up. I mean, she went online to try to cover up the fact that she covered up the tattoo, but I mean, we know y'all broke up. So
I don't believe in no young celebrity love. I just don't.
Yeah,
do it.
no.
Absolutely
I don't
not.
even think people in their 20s or people that are in their prime career should focus on being in a relationship. I mean, it just seems dumb. Like if all your time is going into being this successful career oriented person, especially if it involves a lot of travel, then you don't have the time to give the effort to having a successful relationship.
Right.
Like me right now, there's like people ask me, am I dating? And I'm just like, are you crazy? Do you know how much I work? Do you know I'm working 45 to 50 hours a week. I'm studying 20 hours a week, and I'm working on my brand, the Jayden Hollywood brand overall. There's no way that I would be able to give the love and time to another human being. So if more people would keep that mindset and understand that you don't have to be married by 25 or 30, then I think this world will be a better place.
I don't mind them being in relationships if that's what you're gonna do, whatever. I just don't like how their private affairs get publicized as if it's any different from any other relationship that you might hear of. It's just like, yo, all right, they going through some shit. It might not be some shit that you would do, but you've been in a situation and did some shit that the next man or woman wouldn't do. So I don't want to look at their situation like, damn, y'all crazy. I can't believe you did that. That's not for me to decide. I don't do that. Like, niggas do be doing some wild shit, though.
When you're a public figure, everything you do is up for public.
Comes with the territory.
Right, it does. I just don't. I only care about people for whatever you provide into the world. You entertain, all right, motherfucker, entertain. Outside of that, I don't. You regular, and as far as life goes,
right.
But for you, question: how do you define brotherhood? Friends.
Most people look at, kind of like how I said earlier, most people think brotherhood as this is just my blood brother or my fraternity brother. But for me, I just think the having synchrony between men in general is brotherhood. So if men can work together towards a common goal, if men can work together to enrich each other's minds, to me that's brotherhood.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I feel like a group of men, it could be one or two, who just with like-minded intentions. You know what I'm saying? And shit, if y'all gonna be thugged out, shit, be thugged out on the same level. You know what I'm saying? Like that's your man's. That's what y'all doing. All right, cool. Do that then. You know what I'm saying? But I look at it from a point. It's just for me, brotherhood defines people who I can have certain conversations with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I can talk about certain things with, and you can possibly learn something from what I'm giving you, and I can learn something from what you're giving me. And it's like, all right, yo, I like talking to him. He got some shit with him. I can take from him. I can learn from him and add it to who I am. That aspect of brotherhood is the one I put like at the top because that's the most important. Like, feed me, my nigga. Like, teach me, help me, and vice versa.
I feel like I've gained brotherhood even through social media. It's crazy. Like some people, I feel that I've, it's weird, but it just happens. I just created equality relationships with other men where they can confide in me, the stuff that they have going on in their life, and they feel comfortable and they know that once they tell me something, the world is not going to know about it.
Right.
And
of high importance.
Yeah.
I think brotherhood for me, and this is just some stuff that I've seen, I definitely think brotherhood needs to have a little bit of criticism involved in it. And I think that I don't see that enough to where it's not, because like brotherhood to a lot of people just cover up. Not really tell your brother, your boy, what is. It's like,
oh, you fucked up.
Like how many best men at a wedding pull, after the wedding, pull their guy to the side and be like, listen, bro, you foul.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a different type of loyalty. It's a different type of loyalty. Loyalty just ain't, all right, I'm going to cover up the tracks. I'm to wipe away the prints. I'm going to make sure
you got to hold your
good.
homie accountable too. But
all
even then, that's hard
aspects.
for a lot of people because...
And that's hard for people to accept.
It's hard for... I think it's harder for more people to accept somebody being critical, judging them from a standpoint of constructive criticism, because most people become defensive, not even taking into account the person who's saying it. Like, I feel like if you saying something of value and you're a person of value, you gotta listen to that. No matter, regardless of how it's hitting you, you gotta listen to what this person is saying, because they're a person of value and what they're saying is valuable. But most people don't see the value in that or in the person. They just become defensive and fuck you. I can do what I want. Who is you to be telling me what to do? And it's like, all right, well, I ain't telling your ass shit else.
But then you can't have a brotherhood like that, though. To me, I think once
it's
that person,
that's not there.
Once that person says that, then I'm out, because I can't really be an honest brother to you. Right. So now you only want me to tell you when you're doing good, or you want me to lie to you and tell you that you're really doing good when you're not?
That's legit every single relationship, though. Like, even romantic relationships, like, that shit comes with whatever type of bond that you have with a person.
Right.
I'm not just going to compliment you all day long.
Right.
Like, you have bad qualities too. All right, and when them shit show, I feel like I have it's right of me to let you know, like, what you're doing that's like fucked up or offensive or rubbing people the wrong way.
Yeah, I've actually had to put pause on a friendship before, because I'm telling this person over and over again, what you're doing is wrong. You don't need to be in this situation, but they choose to do otherwise. So I just keep it moving.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about mental health real quick. You were one of the big advocates for it, introducing me to it just by speaking on it a lot. And I think on our last episode, you talked a lot about mental health and going to see a therapist of what happened with you in school growing up. As a young, I think you went young. Mm-hmm. Right. You talked about going young. And I never went. And I had thoughts of going. But just the continued conversation from other podcasters, my brother went. I said, you know what? Let me see what this is about. And it was one of the most beautifulest things that I actually could do. So I just want to get into the conversation of mental health and where you at with that right now and seeing therapy.
So
man, my life right now is amazing. Like, when people ask me how I do it, I just want to start saying, I'm living my best life. Because honestly, ever since I made the conscious decision to effectively take into account my mental health and my mental wellness, my life has changed so much for the better. I don't have toxic people around me. And the way that I live my life is, if you cannot communicate with me in the manner in which I desire, then you do not have a place in my life. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you are. I don't care if brother, sister, mother, father, President Obama, I don't care. If you cannot respect me, give me the same respect that I'm giving you, then you will not be in my life.
Adios.
And I'm actually in the process right now in teaching my parents how to effectively communicate, because they're just so used to being stuck in their ways. My mom is actually an immigrant from Africa and my dad is in the military. So, neither one of them really
a lot of emotional
it's just a lot. It's just a lot of chaos. And now that I'm an adult, they understand. They have no choice but to respect me, and they have no choice but to hear what I'm saying and really digest it. And I'm definitely seeing that change. I'm also seeing the change in everybody in my circle. It seems like everybody in my circle is starting to just be healthier as far as what you digest, whether it's auditory or the foods that you eat or the people that you keep around. It seems like everybody around me is just seeking positivity, seeking balance, and seeking tranquility, and I love it. As far as professionals are concerned, it's so crazy because I was going through a really rough time in September, and then I went to a therapist, and there was an issue with my insurance because it was so backed up. They don't have enough psychologists to help everybody that is requesting mental health. Mm-hmm. So it's like if you want to make an appointment, you can't make an appointment for a month. So it's crazy because that one session that I had with the therapist just fixed everything. Like, I'm good. I'm probably going to have to go back in January though, because that's That's the busiest month at my job. You know, I just know. Like,
you're an
it's
accountant
coming.
in January. Yeah, that should get heavy.
So
Okay.
it's like a detox, a mental detox, and I definitely recommend everybody go. You don't have to be crazy to go to a therapist. Just like people like. It just baffles me that niggas will go to the gym 7 days a week, twice a day, and then go home and beat their wife and won't go to a therapist to fix that unpacked trauma that they have in their head. Like, you witnessed your father beating your mother. Okay, you need to speak to somebody about getting that emotion out and being able to have a relationship with other people without being abusive and without being so angry all the time.
You know what helps me? You know what helps me, yo? I act shit out. Like, I'll be in a house by myself. If I get into an argument with somebody, and I'll be like brushing my teeth, and I'll be thinking the scenario.
The whole argument.
I'm like, I should have, motherfucker, it's your fault, bitch. Like, and I'll say the shit out loud in the mirror. Like, that shit helps me, yo.
I do that in the car, but I've gotten caught one time.
That shit was weird, right?
Yeah.
You look like, oh shit.
I've actually had moments where I thought I was thinking about it, but I was actually saying it out loud. I didn't know that I was.
And then you look around. What you say? Make sure you by yourself.
Nothing. But yeah, it's like sometimes like I'll really act it out. I didn't think of that, but if I'm mad at somebody, I'll kind of like speak about it because I'm good at that. Normally, if I speak on it, all right.
Because once it's on your heart, like, you gotta say it. Well, for me anyway, once it's on my heart, I gotta say it, and then I'll feel better after I say it. And even if there's nobody around, I'm like, bitch, you knew better when you did that shit, bitch. And I look around, it's like, let me roll this blunt.
But I think it's important, just like what you said. I think it's important for you to communicate your feelings with people sometimes. Mm-hmm. See, for me, coming into adulthood, the thing that I had to learn how to do was being able to express myself in a mature manner without cursing somebody out. Mm-hmm. So
it's a transition.
You know, I might just say,
hard transition.
I felt like that was kind of dirty what you did. You know, like why didn't you communicate that with me? Right. You know, I just take a pause and then I say
I found that when you pose the question to people, it actually puts it on them and not on you. Instead of saying, "Oh, I fucking hate you for what you did," you be like, "Why did you do that to me? Like, that really hurt me. Why did you do that?" Then it's like, well, I didn't mean to make you feel that way. You know what I'm saying? You flip it, you put it on.
What if you say, you hurt me, and they say, well, you hurt me too? Then you got to stand still. It's like, wait a minute, I'm trying to get you to feel me right now. Like, don't hit me with the. Well,
I think what you said is good. I think to pose the question is good. You get that person's mindset.
You got to think, like, why did I do that?
And then you let them know how it made you feel.
Also, I've learned that it's the way I might say it that draws people off. I mean well, and I'm really trying to get to the bottom of what I feel, but my presentation just might be a little off.
No, but if that's who you are, that's who you are. And then at a point, it's up to the person who you're with to understand, okay, that's how he naturally speaks. It's not any malice or anything behind it. But a part of who you are has to be taken into consideration with you cleaning up your own shit at the same time. You can't just be like, well, this is who I am. Bitch, I scream. Bitch, take it.
In the heat of the moment, if you mad, you're going to get what you get. I can't.
It depends. It's not even only that. Everybody knows, anybody who knows me knows that I'm a straight shooter. I could be extra 99% of the time. So I was having a conversation with my friend, and she had failed a class last time she was in school. Well, she failed the whole semester. And I was like, okay, you're going back to school. What are you going to do so you don't fail again? Mm-hmm. And she took that like
straight to the gut.
Yeah, she that angered her, but she was able to communicate that the way that I said it was coming off really wrong, especially since that's the soft spot for her. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, thank you for pointing that out to me. And then I took a pause and then I reworded the question. So it's all about communication on both parts.
Absolutely. But you meant well. And that's the frustrating part that you'll have. Like, I mean, but that is it. Get up and go right back at it.
Yeah, but
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but also if you meant well, there shouldn't be any type of anger when a person tells you what you said offended them. It's like, oh, okay, my fault. I didn't mean that. And like you did, you reword it. It's like, okay, I didn't mean it as offensive as it came, and then you slightly reword it for the person to understand. If you're still offended at that point, it was like, all right, fuck it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All right, fuck it. Never mind. You just don't get it. You know what I'm saying? But initially, you know what I'm saying? It's like if you're not angry at them when you're telling them about themselves, then you shouldn't be angry when they tell you what you said offended them. It's just like a simple rewording. Oh shit, my bad. I didn't mean it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're still making me. All right, well, look, bitch. Listen, I can't fucking help you no more. All right.
So,
But one last thing.
Yeah.
In addition to going to a psychologist, I also went to a psychiatrist because
Can you state the difference? Because I really don't know. To be honest with you.
Well, the biggest difference is that a psychiatrist can give you meds and a psychologist doesn't.
Oh.
Psychologists and therapists are interchangeably used.
Okay.
and don't be ashamed of. Actually, I'm glad you're speaking on that because some people think that if you need meds or something, you know what I mean, they don't want to speak on it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you're speaking on it.
Yeah, it's two completely different issues. I went to the psychologist because I was having issues at work. The biggest thing for me was controlling my anger and setting boundaries and not believing in myself. Sometimes I beat myself up mentally. Like if I feel like I could have studied for 8 hours and I only studied for 4, then I kind of beat myself up and then I get into not a depression but a state of sadness. So working through that is my reason for going to a therapist. But the reason I went to a psychiatrist is because I suffer from ADD, and sometimes it's very hard for me to focus. I can't do long lectures. I can't study for long periods of time. So in order for me to secure the bag and effectively get through this CPA material, for those who don't know, I'm studying for the Certified Public Accounting exams. It's 4 exams, hardest exams in the nation. It's even harder than the bar that lawyers have to take. So in order for me to get through this fast track material that I'm doing, I needed to get some medicine. So,
I might have ADDT too then, because I know I fucked it up.
I was about to say, that's a new disease. Tell me about that shit.
No, I ain't got that shit. I can't long, like, extended things of extended period of time bother me. I don't want to be here. Like shit, an 8-hour work shift is like, what the fuck, man? Like, nigga, I can't. I'm sitting here, I can't do it. I'm taking it personal. I'm going down to the cafeteria for like 20 minutes. I'm watching 10 minutes of Sports Center. All right, let me get my ass back upstairs before they come looking for me. Right. And like, but I gotta do that shit to make it through my day. Like, I don't like long movies, like extra long movies. Them shits bother the fuck out. I can't sit there for that long period of time.
Yeah. So
I gotta see a psychiatrist, son, so I can get the meds.
You should. I mean, I talked to the psychiatrist, let him know what was going on, and then I was given a prescription for Adderall. And a lot of people, when I tell that, they're like, "Whoa," because most people, the only thing that they've heard about Adderall are the people that get it illegally because they get it they get somebody else's prescription. Now, if you use an Adderall, somebody's prescription from Adderall, first of all, that you've never used before, your body is might have some adverse reactions to it. In addition to that, somebody that's been on Adderall for years is probably on a high dosage. So that is being a rookie to it. Definitely not for somebody that doesn't have a prescription.
I don't even take other people Advil, nigga. Nah.
Yeah,
get the new pack.
So for me, I have a small dosage of Adderall. It's only 10 milligrams, and I only take it as needed. We're both in agreement. I'm only taking it on the weekends.
What's the side effects to that pill?
The only side effect is dry mouth, but I drink a lot of water, so I don't have that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's not one of them commercials where they tell you might get your foot
Adderall.
Yeah.
See a doctor if your foot gets
Adderall. You may experience blurry vision, dizziness, headache syndrome.
Right. Might become pregnant. You might die. None of that. I haven't had like nothing bad. And the first time I took it, I was at work just to see what side effects I would have. Didn't really have any bad side effects. And then I took it before a class, and the small dosage I'm on, the effects really only last for 4 hours. So then after lunch, I'll take another one. But it's great. It helps me focus. I feel normal. I'm concentrated. Everything is kosher. I don't have anything negative to say about it. So
facts.
All right.